Representative of the Arab League of States, Mr. Fodisek, the Chair of the Committee on the Exercise of the Inalienable Rights of the Palestinian People. Ladies and gentlemen, allow me at the outset to convey the greetings of Mr. Riad Amin Madani, Secretary General of the OIC, wishing you all success. I express his thanks and gratitude for the Republic of the Senegal for hosting this important conference. It consecrates its pilot role in the support of the rights of the Palestinian people in all forums and at all levels. I also wish to express the appreciation of the OIC to the role undertaken by the Committee on the Exercise of the Inalienable Rights of the Palestinian people and its chair, Ambassador Fodisek, and all members of the Bureau for the great effort that is made to support the question of Palestine in order for the Palestinian people to be able to achieve its inalienable rights, foremost amongst which the right to return independence and the establishment of a state of Palestine with Al-Quds al-Sharif as its capital. Your Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, as we meet today in this conference being held under the title Jerusalem at the Heart of the Peaceful Settlement of the Question of Palestine, I wish to reiterate the commitment of the OIC and our constant support to the question of Palestine and Jerusalem, which was the main reason for the establishment of our organization after the fire of the Holy Al-Aqsa Mosque in 1969. The city of Jerusalem is foremost amongst our priorities and political actions as a capital of the State of Palestine, an integral part of Palestinian territories occupied in 1967 and the core of the conflict with Israeli occupation. It has a special historic and humanitarian status in addition to the special religious status for Muslims. Israel, the occupying power, continues, and that since a long time, in implementing plans to Judaize the occupied city of Jerusalem. And recently, we have seen an unprecedented increase in the Israeli plans aiming at Judaizing the city of Jerusalem by changing its historic Arab, Islamic, and Christian components and its demography, in addition to trying to alienate it from its Palestinian environment. The whole world has seen the increase of recurrent Israeli attacks against Muslim and Christian holy sites, especially the Holy Mosque of Al-Aqsa, by incursions and closure of its doors and not allowing movement to it, and aggressing those praying inside the mosque and arresting them. Moreover, the confiscation of land and the building of a synagogue. We reiterate our warning of such actions that are provocative to the feelings of the Muslims and take the conflict to a religious dimension. Your Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, continuing the policy of Israeli expansion and building of settlements, including in Jerusalem, in spite of the international condemnation, shows that Israel, the occupying power, perseveres in trying to kill any opportunity for peace based on a two-state solution. It continues its policies of aggression, Judaization, siege, and murder in total disregard of international will and flagrant violation of international legitimacy. Therefore, the international community must shoulder its responsibility and provide international protection to the Palestinian people, considering the daily crimes and aggression by the Israeli occupation forces and the settlers. Your Excellencies, I wish to refer to the outcome of the 5th Special Summit on the question of Palestine and Al-Quds al-Sharif held by our organization in Jakarta on the 7th of March 2016 in Indonesia. It decided to continue this support to Security Council resolution condemning Israeli settlements and provides the terms of reference in accordance with a determined time frame, while having international guarantees to implement UN resolutions to put an end to the Israeli occupation and establishing an independent Palestinian state on the lines of 67 with Al-Quds al-Sharif as its capital. The organization also expressed in the decision of this summit its welcoming and support for the French initiative based on establishing an international support group and holding an international peace conference to be a basis for a political process. We reiterate the position of the OIC to support the state of Palestine and to protect the rights of the Palestinian people and put pressure to bear on Israel through all legal, political, economic means to put an end to the the occupation of Palestinian land since '67. We reiterate the responsibility of the international community to enable the Palestinian people to exercise its inalienable rights, foremost amongst which the right of the Palestinian people to freedom, independence and return within the 4th of June 1967 borders and Al-Quds as its capital. In conclusion, I wish this conference all success and may God be with you.
I would like to thank Mr. Bakr for his statement on behalf of the committee and of all the participants. I really would like to express our gratitude to the Organization of Islamic Cooperation, whose very generous support facilitated the organization of this conference. And I would like to thank in particular the Bureau, the Office of the Islamic Cooperation Organization in New York for its support for the organization of this conference. I would also like to seize this opportunity, Mr. Deputy Secretary General, to thank the Secretary General, Mr. Riad bin Hamid Madani, for his precious and constant support to the committee and State of Palestine. We really commend this fruitful cooperation between ICO and our Committee on the Inalienable Rights of Palestine. Ladies and gentlemen, dear participants, it is now my pleasure to welcome His Excellency Mr. Riad Malki, Minister of Foreign Affairs of the State of Palestine and representative of the State of Palestine in this conference. Honorable Minister, I would like to hail your participation in this meeting, the participation which coincides with your visit of friendship and work to Senegal following my invitation. Time and again in the past years, we have met at international conferences, and I always invited you to come to Senegal for a friendship and work visit, and you seized this opportunity to have it coincide with this important conference on Jerusalem. So, in the name of the President of the Republic, Mr. Macky Sall, on behalf of the Senegalese government and people, I would like to welcome you on this African land of Senegal, a country which always supported the Palestinian cause from the time of President Senghor, a country which has always committed itself to promote the cause of Palestine and promote the inalienable rights of the people of Palestine, and which has agreed since 1975 to chair this committee for the exercise of the inalienable rights of the people of Palestine, a committee which is a body of the UN General Assembly and which has an annual mandate. And it is important to recall it here. It means that every year the mandate of Senegal at the head of the committee is renewed through a vote by the United Nations General Assembly. And ever since 1975, Senegal has never had any competitor to chair this committee. Its mandate, its term is always reviewed at the head of this committee, which has broadened, which has been strengthened, and thanks to your support. So I would like to say this here and thank you again for having come for this friendship and work visit here in Senegal. Senegal, whose full total population is behind you, whose population is supporting your cause, a cause which is a very noble cause. And it is my pleasure, Mr. Foreign Minister, to offer the floor to you.
Thank you, my friend. It is really a great honor for me to be here in Senegal and to answer your invitation to make such an important visit and important contribution today. We always felt that Senegal stands with the Palestinian people in their fight for freedom and for independence, and we value very much the work that has been done through the years by Senegal, either in the leading the committee or through the political statements and the different participation and action by Senegal in the different forums. It is a great honor to be here today, and I thank you very much for your participation and your kind words towards my country. Dear Minister for Foreign Affairs and Senegalese abroad, representative of the United Nations Secretary General, Assistant Secretary General for Palestine Affairs, Organization of the Islamic Cooperation, Assistant Secretary General, Head of the Palestinian and the Arab Occupied Territories Sector, the Arab League, Chairman of the Committee on the Exercise of the Inalienable Rights of the Palestinian People. Ladies and gentlemen, allow me to start by thanking the United Nations Committee on the Exercise of the Inalienable Rights of the Palestinian People and the Organization of Islamic Cooperation for organizing this important event on Jerusalem, and to thank Senegal, the land of Teranga, for hosting this important conference and for its enduring support and its principled position in defense of the Palestinian people's inalienable rights. As I address you, Israeli occupation forces may be executing another Palestinian. Settlers may be attacking another Palestinian family. And bulldozers are for sure building settlements on the ruins of Palestinian homes in a constant attack against an entire nation. A humanitarian crisis unfolds before our eyes as the Gaza Strip and its 1.8 million Palestinian inhabitants continue to suffer from a prolonged, illegal, and criminal siege. And in Jerusalem, prayers from Al-Haram Sharif and from the Holy Sepulchre are accompanied by the tears and shouts of Palestinians defending the city and its holy sites from colonialism under its many disguises, and standing up for pluralism, the essence of the Holy Land. Palestine has been a standing item on the UN agenda since its inception. And this almost unique situation is not a privilege. It is a signal of the international community's inability to take the necessary decisions to achieve a just and lasting solution to this conflict by ending the Israeli colonial occupation. And yet, the solution is crystal clear and enjoys universal support. It can be found in numerous UN resolutions adopted by both the UN Security Council and the UN General Assembly. Only one country opposes this consensus. Only one country is destroying the two-state solution based on the 67 borders, and with it, the very hope of peace in our region. It's Israel. It is doing so on broad daylight, in defiance to international will, and at the expense of the lives and the rights of the Palestinian people. One should never choose process over substance, as Israel will use the process to continue evading substance by grabbing land and losing time. Without a commitment by Israel to end its occupation rather than entrenching it, there can be no prospect for peace. The Israeli Prime Minister keeps on reiterating he is for the two-state solution, but refuses the 67 borders as basis, and continues to disregard the fact that every single country on earth considers the annexation of East Jerusalem illegal. Those who believe we can wait for a change in Israel without changing the international attitude towards Israel, those who believe the two-state solution will have a better chance tomorrow than today, do not apprehend the realities and violations our people endure on a daily basis, notably in Jerusalem. We proclaim, yet again, our support for any peace initiative that has for basis the internationally agreed terms of reference, namely UN resolutions, the Madrid principles, including Land for Peace, and the Arab Peace Initiative. Any such peace initiative must thus be based on the 1967 borders, including as regards Jerusalem, and aim at ending the occupation of the territory of the State of Palestine, including East Jerusalem. It requires a clear time frame and international involvement and monitoring. In this context, we have brought our full support to the French initiative and have sought its support by international partners. Any initiative to succeed must hold parties accountable. A rule which breach is not sanctioned can never be upheld. We have 70 years of experience in this regard. It is time to admit that Israel's immunity and impunity are the greatest obstacle to peace. For 2 decades, we were asked to choose between peace and accountability, and we got neither. Those who wish to see peace prevail must support us in our endeavor to ensure accountability and not stand against us. We will pursue accountability through all avenues, including the ICC, as this is not only our right, but our duty towards our people. Israel, in a few weeks, announced plans to build hundreds of new settlement units. The annexation of land in the Jordan Valley and south of Nablus in the West Bank. There is a 250% rise in settlement plans in the first quarter of 2016 compared to the same period in 2015. How can one explain, in such a context, the decision of EU member states at the Human Rights Council to abstain on a resolution on settlements, mainly because of a database of companies operating illegally in the occupied state of Palestine, and as such, aiding and abetting the illegal settlement regime. Other European states have even abstained on another resolution they had previously agreed to on accountability, an unjustifiable move that will only make Israel more daring in its violation of international law. What is the value of the numerous resolutions adopted by the UN Security Council, the UN General Assembly, the UN Human Rights Council, UNESCO, and other UN bodies if each time we seek to translate the positions enshrined in them into concrete measures, the same very countries that voted them are unwilling to follow? The same applies to the International Court of Justice ruling regarding the wall and its associated regime, including in East Jerusalem, and its very clear conclusions, including as regards third-party responsibility. The illegal wall and illegal settlements and settlements infrastructure continue being constructed because third parties do not uphold their responsibilities. States must prohibit any ties between their governments, their entities, their companies, and their citizens with the occupation, and notably the settlement regime. States must also link their relations with Israel, the occupying power, to its respect of the Palestinian people's inalienable rights. They must take action against illegal settlement regime, including settlers' organizations whose violence and terrorism continue unchecked. They must, in short, respect and ensure respect for international law. The UN Security Council must shoulder its own responsibilities in this regard as the main body responsible for international peace and security by addressing the main obstacle to peace, i.e., the settlements and their associated regime after 7 years of a deafening silence. No place on earth symbolizes more the colonial aspirations of Israel and the machinery deployed to fulfill them than Jerusalem. Jerusalem is besieged so as to sever it from its Palestinian environment and better attack Palestinian presence and identity within the city. In Jerusalem, the Israeli colonial war against Palestinian presence is led by neighborhood, street by street, house by house, holy site after holy site, including through the repeated attempts to temporarily and spatially divide Al-Haram Sharif. Every Palestinian citizen is a target, including through extrajudicial killings, home demolishing, arbitrary arrests, and revocations of residency cards, notably in the Old City, in Silwan, in Sheikh Jarrah, Al-Isawiyah, among others. Israel, the occupying power, uses an arsenal of military, administrative, and legal measures, all contravening UN Security Council resolutions and international law, to forcibly transfer, directly or indirectly, Palestinians out of the city and to create and expand illegal settlements, to displace and replace. In 2015 alone, over 12,600 settlement units were approved by Israel, the occupying power in East Jerusalem alone. Jerusalem is surrounded by illegal settlements, by wall and military checkpoints. Just a few days ago, 2 Palestinians were savagely executed at one of these checkpoints. Maram Abu Ismail, 23 years old, a mother of 2 and 5 months pregnant, was walking alongside her brother Ibrahim, 16 years old, on their road to Jerusalem for a medical appointment, when Israeli occupation so-called guards, after shouting at them in Hebrew, a language they don't understand, shot them repeatedly as they were approaching the Qalandia military checkpoint. These extrajudicial killings, these murders of Palestinians on the streets have gone unchecked. The Israeli soldier who was filmed shooting and murdering Abdel Fattah Abu Sharif while he was lying on the ground wounded was greeted as a hero by many in Israel, including Israeli ministers. He is the product, that soldier, the Israeli soldier, is the product of this colonial system and not the exception to it. A system that considers the murder of Palestinians justified by the mere fact they are Palestinians. And yet, some still talk about the right of the occupying power to security